Hi guys, it's Miss Trinka here. Today we are going to read Many Kinds of Matter. This is an informational text which is nonfiction, which means it gives real facts about real life things. Okay, so you're going to see lots of information in this book. So before we get started, let's learn a little bit about informational text.
It's just about time to get into a really good book. But what should you read today? With all of the millions of great books out there, this is a big decision. There are so many great books, and they are all written for different reasons. Today, let's talk about the two different types of books: informational books or nonfiction, and literary books, also called fiction books. Informational books are filled with facts and information. These books don't have to be read in order, so they usually have a table of content to help you find the information quickly. Informational books can teach you all about cooking, wild animals, sports, and even how to build things. Literary books are make-believe stories. These stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and they have to be read in order to understand. They have characters and settings, and we usually read literary books for entertainment. If you're anything like my kids, you probably like to read a good literary fiction book. Some of my favorite titles are Esperanza Rising, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Click Clack Moo, The Cows That Type, and the Bad Guys series. Now don't get me wrong, I really love literary books. But since you're thinking about what you should read, I thought I'd let you know that there are a lot of great informational books out there, and they're really fun to read too. Plus, informational books are written to provide information, so reading them helps your brain to grow. Some of my favorite informational book titles are the Everything Kids Science Experiments, What If You Had Animal Ears, National Geographic's Kid Cookbook, and Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls. So, have you decided yet? Will it be literary or informational? If you can't decide, I say you go ahead and read one of each. Trust me, you will be so glad you did. It is that time once again, time to pick up a book and read. Today, I want to encourage you to read something informational. These are my students, Gregory, Janice, and Grace. Today, we have been talking about informational text. Greg thinks the words in informational text are too challenging. Janice says that sometimes informational text is difficult to understand. And Grace, she thinks informational books are just boring. I've been trying to show them that informational text can be so much fun. Informational text grows your brain and helps you to learn something new. They open your eyes to things you've never seen, and they can take you to places you'd love to explore. I do have to admit, reading informational text can be difficult to understand. But here are a few things you can do to make challenging text easier to understand. Before you begin reading, look at the title, read the different headings and captions, look at all the pictures, and ask yourself, what is this going to be about? Begin by reading the section that interests you the most. Remember, most informational text doesn't have to be read in any particular order. If you come to a word you don't understand, stop and ask for help, or look it up, or even use your context clues to try and understand what the word means. After you finish reading, ask yourself, what was this text about? Was I right? What else do I want to know about this topic? And of course, you should always share something interesting you learned with a friend. Doing these little things will really help you make a big impact on the challenging text, and it will make it easier to understand. It will make the topic a bit more interesting, and you'll also sound really smart when you share your new information with your friends. If you're looking for some great informational books, try these. Or you could begin with a question, like one of these. But whatever you do, make sure to have fun.
Now that we've learned a little bit more about informational text, let's read this informational text. So we need to build some background about what we know about solids, liquids, and gases, because that is the topic of this book. So let's build some background.
Look all around you. What do you see? Everything you see is a solid, a liquid, or a gas. Think about something you can hold in your hand, like a pencil. How is that pencil different from something you can pour, like milk? How are the pencil and the milk different from the air you breathe? Everything around you is a type of matter, even the things you can't see. Many Kinds of Matter by Jennifer Boothroyd. Matter. Matter is everywhere. Matter is anything that has mass and volume. Mass is the amount of material in an object. Volume is the amount of space an object takes up. Trees, lakes, and people are matter. All have mass and volume. There are 3 kinds of matter. The 3 kinds of matter are solids, liquids, and gases. Solids. Books, rocks, and toys are solids. Solid matter holds its own shape. Solids do not take the shape of their container. Marbles fill a jar, but the marbles are still round. Books are one example of a solid. The shape of solids does not change when you put them in a container. Solids are not easy to compress. Compress means to squeeze something into a tight space. Bottles and cans are solids. It's not easy to squeeze them into this recycling bin. Solids do not flow. Solid candies don't spread across ice cream the way hot fudge sauce does. Candy sprinkles are solids. They do not flow over ice cream. Liquids. Oil, syrup, and water are liquids. Liquid matter does not hold its own shape. Liquids take the shape of their container. Water inside a swimming pool takes on the shape of the pool. Oil is one example of a liquid. Water in a square pool takes on a square shape. Liquids are not easy to compress. Milk is a liquid. You couldn't fit the milk in the jug into the little carton. Liquids flow. Liquid syrup spreads across pancakes. Gases. Air, steam, and your breath are gases. Gas matter does not hold its own shape. Gases take the shape of their container. The air inside a hot air balloon takes on the shape of the balloon. Gases are easy to compress. Carbon dioxide is a gas. It's inside soda cans. It's squeezed into the cans to give the soda bubbles. Carbon dioxide rushes out of soda cans when you open them. Gases flow. The air inside a bubble spreads to fill the space inside the bubble. Matter and changes. Matter can change from one kind to another. Some solids can change to liquids. Some liquids can change to gases. Water is a special kind of matter. You know that water is a liquid, but it can easily be found in all 3 forms on our planet. The liquid in this cup is changing to a gas. Water becomes a solid if it is cooled. It turns into ice. Water turns into ice when it freezes. Water freezes when it reaches a temperature of 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. Water becomes a gas if it is heated. It turns into steam. Water turns into steam when it boils. Water boils when it reaches a temperature of 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100. Water at any temperature can change into water vapor. Water vapor is a gas. This change is called evaporation. Some people use a drying rack after washing their dishes. The dishes dry after the water evaporates. Water vapor changes back into liquid water when it cools in the air. This change is called condensation. You can see condensation after a hot shower. The water vapor touches the shower door and turns back into a liquid. Have you ever seen condensation on a shower door? Other matter can change forms too. Cheese is a solid. It melts when it gets hot. It changes to a liquid. Bread dipped in melted cheese is a tasty treat. Juice is a liquid. It freezes when it gets cold. It changes to a solid. Ice pops can be made by freezing juice. We use solids, liquids, and gases every day. They are an important part of our lives and our planet.
So let's talk about what was the author's purpose of that text, Many Kinds of Matter. Let's start with our P in pie. So let's look right here. Remember, persuade is when you try to convince the reader of a certain point of view. So you're trying to change their mind about something or get them to agree with you. Was the author trying to convince us of something? To change our opinion to match his? No. Okay, let's go to the E, entertain. Was this to hold the attention of the reader through enjoyment? No, not really. Let's go to inform, to teach or to give information to the reader. What do you think? Did this text give us real facts and teach us about something in real life? Yes, it did. What did it inform you about? Think. What did it give facts about? Matter. Matter was the topic, and it gave us real facts, real information about all kinds of matter, solids, liquids, gases. It taught us about evaporation and condensation. It even gave us real life examples of all those things. So the author's purpose of this text was to inform. Easy as pie.